Hello my friends, welcome to this video. This video is my commentary on Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial. I had decided not to watch it, but that's the only thing on TV for weeks and weeks. I watched enough just by between searching channels. So I ended up wanting to make a video about it. I'm not a fan of Johnny Depp or Amber Heard. No offense to anyone. I'm not a fan of any movie stars just because I don't actually watch any movie. So my opinions could be completely opposite of the popular opinions anywhere on social media. Please don't throw bricks at me or tell me to kill myself. YouTube blocks comments like that to be published in the comments section below, but I sign up for subscriber and comments notification, so I still can read any comments, including the ones that tell me to kill myself, just because I have a completely opposite opinion about something. With that, this video is for mind exercise and entertainment only. If my opinions are completely odd, please leave yours that are not odd in the comments section below in this video. I will read all of them, but don't orient them toward me as a person. Orient toward your comments about the trial and the matters in the trial. This video is 12 highlights of the trial that I want to comment on. I called it 12 knots. With that, let's look at number one. So the number one thing I want to comment on is Johnny Depp's text to his friend Bethany about Amber Heard. Let's burn Amber. Let's drown her before we burn her. I will have her burned corpse afterwards. The first time I heard that, I was completely shocked. I can't believe someone like Johnny Depp at that level will have words about his girlfriend and his future wife anywhere in writing, not mentioned to a friend. His attorney directed him to explain that it's not meant forever. It's an abstract humor conversation between him and his friends. Felt a little bit better after that, but still, I have problem with that. First, what's so abstract and humorous about burn, drawn, corpse of somebody? No, absolutely not. Johnny Depp is definitely a great actor and a great artist with words. He didn't even use dark humor because we associate dark with evil, bad, but we associate abstract with profound, creative, mysterious. All of them are kind of opposite of dark. That's the first problem I have. There is nothing abstract or humorous about that text. The second thing I noticed is that Amber Heard's lawyer brought out similar text he has. Either it's about his former partner or the nanny of their two children. All these people are females. So it seems he has a so-called abstract humor on females. And the third problem I have is he He said it's not meant for Amber. He did not mean to do those things. But look, who is reading it? Amber Heard was reading it, and the whole world is reading it. And words just came from an idea in his mind. How can somebody even came out of these kind of words in their mind about their girlfriend or the woman who later became his wife? I just can't get over with this text. Maybe there is a juror that can't get over with this kind of language and text and the idea behind that. Maybe he's lucky. They are all fine with that. So we will know after the trial, I guess. The second thing I noticed is when he testified, he started to talk very slow, very controlled, and then he started with very early on how he was abused by his mom. I was like, come on, do you have PR people? How can they support you bring your mom to a defamation lawsuit? Let alone she already passed away. What's the point is he making? Does he mean that if your mom abused you, then your wife is for sure going to be an abuser? Or does he mean if you are abused when you are a child, then later in life you are going to become an abuser? Of course, he meant the former because he made a comparison that he realized his relationship with Amber almost like his relationship with his mom, because the similar abusive things he claimed Amber did to him. I don't know. I definitely don't want my child bring me up in their to the public about their mistreatment by me after I passed away. If I mistreated them, I prefer they bring them up while I'm still alive so I can address that. I do not want them to bring up after I died and then they use that to help them. Another problem is he mentioned that his dad left them. It's his mom who stayed with them and raised him and his siblings. He thinks his mom abused him and he cannot forgive her. So he can forgive his dad for leaving them, but he cannot forgive his mom for not raising them in a positive, all positive kind of way. Number 3, yummy but strings attached discovery. Amber Heard testified at the beginning of her relationship with Johnny Depp on Rum Diary. She was wearing a bathrobe. She described Johnny Depp how bring her to a bed and opened her bathrobe and looked at her and said, "Yummy." I don't know why she remembered that. If I look back on that relationship, I would think that's the beginning of the trouble. Because for me, it seems from the very beginning, Johnny Depp looks at her as a yummy sexual object to enjoy, but later find out she is yummy, but she's a human being too, and she's not perfect. And that's just how the trouble started, I think. That's the idea that started the trouble, I think. But unfortunately, Amber Heard's psychologist or psychiatrist did not mention anything about a starting point of trouble. To me, it feels like that's the starting point of trouble. The yummy discovery is the start point of the trouble in their relationship. Number 4, the nail polish, bloody nose thing, and the cavity search. So Johnny Depp claims Amber Heard faked a broken nose with nail polish. Let's watch his testimony, and there are a few things I want to point out and comment on.
And she was still fighting. I believe there was some kind of contact with our heads, our foreheads, as would happen if you're trying to calm someone like that. And then that was when she accused me of headbutting her, of giving her a headbutt and breaking her nose. But there was no blood. There was no. I didn't hit her nose. If there was anything at all, it was a bump of. Well, I'm trying to restrain her. She's trying to get out of it. There's going to be some contact here and there, accidental contact, but not a headbutt.
How did you escape this altercation?
After she'd made the remark about the fact that I headbutted her, which was just impossible, she split. She huffed off. I let her go. She huffed away, and she was gone for about 7 or 8 minutes. And then when she came back, I was in the bedroom of Penthouse 3, our bedroom, and she came back about 7 or 8 minutes later. And she had a Kleenex or a tissue to her nose, and she pulled it away from her nose and she showed it to me, and there was red. There was indeed like red color on the tissue. But me, I know that there was no connection to her nose. No part of my body made connection to her nose or eyes or anything like. So she said, she took it away and she showed it to me. She said, "Way to go, Johnny, you broke my nose. You broke my nose." And I knew I hadn't, so I said, you go into sort of placation mode, which is, "Oh my God, let me see, are you okay? What happened? Let me see." And she wouldn't let me see anything. And so I just tried to calm the situation as best I could. All the while, I was waiting for her to dispense with that Kleenex because I didn't trust it. And so I waited, and when she dropped it into the wastebasket in her bathroom, or in our bathroom, and left the room. Went somewhere downstairs, I think, I don't know. And then I pulled the Kleenex out of the trash bin, and I inspected it pretty closely and realized that it was nail polish. It was nail varnish or polish.
Here you go. That's his testimony. His testimony at the end kind of sent a chill down my spine because it shows he has zero trust for Amber Heard. Distrust is the number one enemy in a relationship. If you are in a relationship, if you have no trust for the other or the other has no trust for you, get out of quick. Get out of it now. I can't believe he wait there and wait for Amber Heard to dispose the tissue, so he picked up from the trash can to check. And then it's such a disappointment. The lawyer even didn't ask, "How do you know it's nail polish? Did you touch it? Did you smell it? How do you know it's nail polish? Does Amber Heard has red nail polish?" Probably yes, probably no, who knows? Just unbelievable how much he distrusts Amber Heard. If you don't trust somebody, why you marry somebody? Then he testified that because he had helped a lot of people, now he was accused of a wife beater. He feels like he's kind of a fraud. But his text and his behavior makes his marriage like a fraud. You have zero trust for somebody. Why you marry that person? It's just unbelievable. And then there is also another thing I want to point out in this testimony is how he shows how he kind of defend himself when Eberhard was scratching and doing that to him. So let's watch the earlier part of his testimony.
So protecting my face, but at the same time, with her arms swinging wildly, I put my arms out and I was able to get her into like a bear hug or something, just to stop her from hitting me anymore. And while holding her in that position, she was still trying to, she had her legs, she could kick, she could knee me.
So he volunteered to demonstrate how the interaction went about. And I don't know if you noticed that or not, but I noticed his demonstration. That's just not a defending thing. That means he totally overpowers the other one. He has total control of the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm a sexist. I don't know. It just feels. I don't think Eberhard can do anything to him, but he can easily do some damage to her, and he can easily totally constrain her. She can't do anything. If you have never been constrained by somebody, you don't know how it feels if you are being constrained by another person. It's actually very, very vulnerable. So I just don't. The demonstration he did is just for me. I can't take it. I can't imagine somebody doing that to me. I can't. So I hope you don't have the same feeling with me. But that gesture is just terrible for me. His testimony of the nail polish thing also kind of confirms Eberhard's cavity search. Let's watch Eberhard's testimony.
Let's tell the jury about Hicksville, May 2013. Can you tell the jury what transpired at Hicksville?
It's like a fancy trailer park, like a little hotel in the middle of nowhere, set up with these little trailers, and we had made a plan to go there with friends, and we were going to do, like laughy, as we said, laughy drugs, like mushrooms, eat mushrooms, sit by a campfire. There's really not a whole lot else to do out there. It's like a getaway. We had made this plan, and it was going fine. It was like a, kind of like a party out in the desert, with a few friends and campfire and music. And I don't know somebody brought MDMA, it was being passed around, and somebody who took it kind of was starting to feel the effects of it, I guess is the best way to describe. She kind of reacted in this way where when the MDMA hit her, she kind of, we were sitting around a campfire, all of us, and she kind of just leaned into me and put her, head on my shoulder and kind of grabbed my arm. I took it, to be the effects of the drug. And I think I had eaten a mushroom cap, but was not feeling anything at the time. I don't remember feeling anything because the night just kind of changed pretty dramatically before I really felt anything of the effects of that. But that was the environment we were in, and as soon as she kind of did this thing where she leaned into me, Johnny gets really activated. He gets really upset, and he starts, well, at first she thought he was kidding too. She thought he was kind of making a joke. I think we all did. Everyone kind of responded at first, you know, that it, like it was a joke, but he was like, hey man, what are you doing? You know, what do you think you're doing? And she kind of giggled and kind of leaned into me more. And I knew in my body just instantly that it wasn't a joke. But she didn't. So she's kind of still attached to my arm when he says it again to her louder. He says, hey man, you think you're touching my fucking girl? You think you're touching my fucking girl? That's my fucking girl. And he gets louder and louder. And she kind of did this thing, half understanding what was going on. I think she kind of started to cry at this point, but she kind of threw up her hands, and Johnny grabbed her wrist and kind of twisted it and pulled her into him and said, do you know how many pounds of pressure it takes to break a human wrist? Huh? And he kind of held her, and she just looked frozen. And she's crying, and was just denying understanding what was going on. I stepped in. I kind of take Johnny's arm around, kind of take Johnny's hand, and kind of we start communicating. I don't remember if he immediately was accusing me or if it was sometime after. I wish I remembered, but we agreed that we'd go and talk about it in the trailer. So we walked to the trailer, and when we're in the trailer, Johnny, by the time we get into the trailer, Johnny tells me that I had been instigating the, and asking for this, and that I had invited it, and that I hadn't been honest with him about my relationship with this woman. And I didn't really know her that well. I mean, I actually don't know her at all, but I had met her. And I remember in the trailer, he's accusing me of lying about it, and that I had something with her. I'm trying to diffuse that. I'm trying to calm him down. And he just turned all that, it seemed like he turned all that rage onto the trailer itself. And he just started smashing things. He picked up something on the table and threw it right into the glass cabinet. He hit with his hand a wall sconce. He cleared the tabletop on the little fold down, like kitchen dining room area in this trailer. I mean, it's a trailer, so there's only so much you can do. And he's screaming at me, just screaming at me. And I eventually go back into the back, the bedroom area. He comes into the bedroom area. We had what I can only describe as it sounded like nonsense from him. It wasn't making sense. And I realized that he's just probably really high. Because it wasn't making sense anymore. It wasn't like a direct accusation. He wasn't hearing me when I was saying I wasn't involved, wasn't cheating on him. I wasn't secretly trying to engage this woman in some sort of sexual affair. And then it became clear to me he was like looking for something. He cleared things off the bed. I went into the bathroom, and as I come out, he asked me where it is and how long I've been hiding it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he says, you know what I'm fucking talking about. You know what I'm fucking talking about. Be honest with me. Where are you hiding it? and he kind of like makes to look into the bathroom. And I gestured to the bathroom, which was to my right. I kind of like gestured to him and I said, like, what am I hiding and where am I going to hide it? And we're standing in this little hallway area outside of the bathroom, and he starts, you know, what feels like patting me down or saying he's patting me down. I can't recall, but he ripped my dress, the strap top part of my dress. I had just dyed this thing myself pink, and it's just one of those things. I was like, you know, I just finished that dress. And he's like grabbing my breasts, he's touching my thighs, he rips my underwear off, and then he proceeds to do a cavity search. He said he was looking for his drugs, his cocaine, his coke. I was wondering how somebody who didn't do cocaine and was against it, that was in and of itself causing problems in our relationship. How could I hide? Why would I hide his drugs from, like he was insinuating that I was doing it or something? It made no sense. And he was telling me we're gonna conduct a cavity search, shall we? Like, just shoved his fingers inside me. And I just stood there staring at the stupid light. I didn't know what to do. I just stood there. While he did that, he just twisted his fingers around. I didn't say like stop or anything.
So when I first heard about the cavity search, I was like, people have cavities in their teeth. So why he wants to do a cavity search? Then I realized, oh, okay, what she was talking about. I don't know how can you make up a story like that? Do you want to believe Amber Heard or do you not want to believe Amber Heard? Either way, I don't know how you make up a story like that. If Amber Heard made up the story like that, she definitely should change her career. She should become a novelist or some kind of fake story consultant to write stories like that. I have to be honest, I kind of believe her. I think Johnny Depp indirectly confirmed that by waiting for Amber Heard to drop the tissue and to check if that's nail polish or real blood. That he just have no trust in Amber Heard. Zero, absolutely nothing in there. That's why crazy things like that will happen. I have no idea if the blood was real blood or nail polish. Amber Heard could have used nail polish to make a point that he can really hurt her, stop hurting her or something like that. I don't insist that it's not nail polish, but the fact that how he found out it's nail polish is just telling, very telling. And then it confirms the Amber Heard's story about cavity search, I think, because how can you make up a story like that? He just have zero trust in Amber Heard. That's why things like that happened. Number 5. Winona Ryder's virginity and Ellen Barkin's scar. Winona Ryder is one of the Johnny Depp's earlier girlfriend after maybe his first marriage, I think. They claim to deeply in love with each other. They engaged and then they broke off, but nothing really said about what happened behind doors, why they broke off, why it didn't work out. But there is a widely known statement by Winona, quote, "When I met Johnny, I was pure virgin. He changed that. He was my first everything, my first real kiss, my first real boyfriend, my first fiancé, the first guy I had sex with. So he will always be in my heart forever. Kind of funny, that world." Winona Ryder. Who makes a statement like that? Unless you are accused of not being a virgin at 17 years old. That's when she and Johnny Depp became a thing. So the whole statement is just, it's not for herself, it's not for the world, it's for Johnny Depp. So I suspect that's what happened. She probably was accused of that, accused of not being something. So she broke up with him and she made a statement. She decided she couldn't convince him. She couldn't win that thing. It's not right for her. She's not going to end up good if she continues. That's why she broke up and made a statement like that. Nobody will make a statement like that unless you are accused of not being one, okay? So that's long ago. And then let's look at Ellen Barkin's scar. What am I talking about? Let's watch her testimony.
And at what point in time did your relationship with Mr. Depp take a romantic turn?
After I had moved to Hollywood, and he, switched the buttons.
Recall what year you moved to Hollywood?
Yes, 1994.
When you said switch the buttons, can you tell me what you meant by that?
The friendship went from a purely platonic friendship to a romantic one.
At that point in 1994, when the relationship turned romantic, to your
Can you change that to sexual?
to sexual,
Thank you.
for how long did your relationship with Mr. Depp remain sexual?
Several months. Anywhere between 3 and 5, 6.
And during that period, how often would you see Mr. Depp? That period when it was sexual?
I'd say I'd see him 3 or 4 times a week.
And again, I'm not looking to pry into private details, but can you tell me like where you would see him? Just give me some sense of that.
Yeah, he would come to my house, or I would go to his house.
And both houses in LA?
Yes, about 10-minute drive apart from each other.
And at either when you were at his house, where you didn't stay the night, or where you were at his house when you did stay the night, were there other people in the house who saw you there? Who would those people be?
He had an assistant. His sister. That's all I can remember now.
Do you recall the name of the assistant?
I don't know his name. He was referred to as Pig.
He was referred to by whom as Pig?
Johnny Depp.
At any point that you were either initially friends and then sexual with Mr. Depp, did you become aware that he drank to excess.
I was always aware.
Okay, and can you explain how you were aware of that?
He was drunk all the time, a lot of the time.
And that would apply both to when you were initially friends and then later when it became sexual.
Yeah.
And what was he drunk? What with your understanding, what had he drunk to become drunk?
He was a red wine drinker.
Okay. In addition to alcohol, were you aware at that time that Mr. Depp was taking any prescription medication?
No.
Okay. Same question, Mr. Barkin, for illegal substances.
Yes.
Same question. And what illegal substances?
Hallucinogenics, cocaine, marijuana.
Hallucinogenics. Can you say specifically what those were?
I don't really know. He called me and told me he was tripping.
With respect to any of that, hallucinogenics, cocaine, or marijuana, did he do any of that in your presence?
Yes,
More than once?
all the time.
When you say all the time, how many times, again, in the period that you were both first friends and then sexual with Mr. Depp, do you think you saw him?
I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I just know he was always drinking or smoking a joint.
But would it be fair to say more than at least dozens of times?
Yeah. Over the full course, oh yeah.
Did you ever observe, Ms. Barkin, Mr. Depp's behavior change when he drank more or used more drugs?
I did not.
So he was kind of the same all the time, fair to say?
It was not the same. He was high.
Did there come a time, Ms. Barkin, when Mr. Depp acted in a way that was out of control with you?
Yes. Mr. Depp threw a wine bottle across the room, the hotel room on one instance in Las Vegas while we were shooting Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Was something about to happen
A fight was going on.
between you and Mr. Depp?
No.
Who was the fight between you?
Between Johnny Depp and his friends in the room, the assistant. Honestly, I don't remember.
And the bottle do you remember sitting here today, Ms. Barkin, whether the bottle was full of wine or empty?
I don't.
Sitting here today, Ms. Barkin, do you remember whether the bottle hit you?
No, it did not.
Did the bottle hit anyone else?
No, it did not.
Approximately how far away from you was Mr. Depp when he threw the bottle?
Across the room, so maybe by that break in the table or a little further down. It was a toss.
And
Rob.
sitting here today, if the bottle had hit you, would it have injured you? Sure. Ms. Barkin, was it your understanding back then that he was throwing the bottle at you?
I don't know why he threw the bottle.
And when he threw it, was it in your direction?
Yes.
Were there other people standing around you?
Yes.
So he threw it in your direction at a group of people?
Yes.
Whose hotel room was it?
His Johnny Depp's.
Who broke off?
He did.
How did it come about that Mr. Depp broke off your relationship?
I went to go home. There was a big goodbye, crying, a lot of jealous, don't do this, don't do that. And I never heard from him again after that.
And did Mr. Depp not want you to go back to Los Angeles at the time?
Yes, he didn't want me to go. I was only supposed to be there for 2 days. I stayed for longer.
And you just referenced, you just used the word jealous. How did that come up? What did he say that indicated to you that he was jealous?
He's just a jealous man, controlling. Where are you going? Who are you going with? What did you do last night? I had a scratch on my back once that got him very, very angry because he insisted it came from me having sex with a person who wasn't him.
During the time that you were in a sexual relationship with Mr. Depp, was it common for him to say things to you about being controlling, to use your words, or being jealous of you?
Yeah, very common.
And when, in these instances, when Mr. Depp became jealous or controlling, did he also become angry?
Yeah. And demanding.
Ellen Barkin is another earlier girlfriend of Johnny Depp probably after Winona Ryder. Here you go. You heard her testimony. She didn't feel comfortable to describe their relationship even as romantic. She asked to change that to sexual. That means she feels, okay, they are not in a long time relationship. They are not, she was probably used by Johnny Depp. You heard it, how they broke up because Johnny Depp accused of her having sex with another man because of the scratch on her back. After her testimony, a lot of people were saying, who is she testifying for? Amber Heard or Johnny Depp? No, neither of them. She's testifying for herself. You can see jealousy and accusations like that made by Johnny Depp on his partner can scar a person psychologically, and the scar is lifelong. It cannot be removed. You can only show people. And then because they never talked to each other again, never heard from him again after that, she had no opportunity to address it. So now she got an opportunity. She came to address that. She came to show her scar to the world. She probably will feel better after she showed it to the world, but it cannot be removed. She carries that. That kind of scar, you can carry it with you secretly all life long. They cannot be removed. Nobody can remove that. So that's just become part of you, part of her, who she is. It's a pattern. Jealous and accusations can psychologically scar your partner. Jealousy, insecurity, accusations. Number 2, enemy in a relationship, it will not work out. And there are meanings and meanings of examples. And Johnny Depp and Amber Heard is one of them. Number 6, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship is not equal. When Johnny Depp met Amber Heard, he already had many relationships. He also had a long time relationship with his former partner, Vanessa Paradis, and they had 2 children together. They are already like almost teenage going into adulthood, that kind of age. So to me, it seems Johnny Depp's a major part of Johnny Depp's life is already spent. I don't think he was looking to start from the beginning with somebody. He was just probably looking for somebody to enjoy. Amber Heard, on the other hand, is only at the beginning of her personal or her family life. So the relationship is definitely not equal. If something happens to them, Johnny Depp still lived a full life, kind of full life. Amber Heard wouldn't. She doesn't have that. So that's the number 3 enemy in relationship. Inequality. is the number 3 enemy in the relationship, and Johnny Depp and Amber Heard had all of that: distrust, jealousy, and inequality. Number 7, let's talk about Wino tattoo incident. That's Amber Heard described how she was assaulted, physically attacked for the first time because she saw a smudged tattoo, and you can tell it's true. It's kind of smudged, hard to tell what it is. So she asked about it, and Johnny Depp said, "Why no?" And then she laughed about it. That's probably possible, very likely. And then Johnny Depp slapped her. She thought he was joking, so she still was laughing, and then she slapped her again. Then, according to her, he slapped her 3 times. According to Johnny Depp's version, he did mention that Amber Heard had problem with the Wino Forever tattoo, but he didn't go in detail how she has the problem with that and what happened and what is the result. So it makes me feel Amber Heard was telling the real event, how it happened. It sounds real to me. Johnny Depp's version, it's only a conclusion he has. The conclusion is Amber had a problem with the tattoo, Wino Forever tattoo. Amber Heard's version is more believable, personally. What do you think about it, this incident? And leave your comments in the comment section. Number 8, let's talk about Johnny Depp's finger. Who cut Johnny Depp's finger? Amber Heard's version is simple. She was not there. Johnny Depp's version is firm. Amber Heard did it. But it's a wine bottle thrown at him while his hands is laying on the edge of the table counter, and the wine bottle hit it. I kind of have a few problems with his testimony. First, if you look at my finger, my middle finger is so much longer than the other 3. But if I bend it as if I was putting at the edge of the counter, the 3 fingers almost become the same length. So if a wine bottle hit it, it cannot be just hit one fingertip. It's going to hit 3 of them. Look at his fingers. His 3 fingers are almost at the same length. So if his hand is by the counter edge, the 3 fingers are at the same length. The wine bottle is going to hurt 3 of them. How come it's just only one, and they leave the fingernail intact, and then hurt the underside? The fingertip was removed from the underside and the side of the finger. So that's the one problem, technical problem by common sense I have with his testimony. The second problem I have with his testimony is, if that's what happened, why you didn't bend down and pick up your fingertip? You don't want it anymore, or what's going on? Why you wait for so long and ask somebody else to look for your fingertip? If that's what happened, you should know the fingertip is close by somewhere. It's under your feet. It's there. You should pick it up. Why you didn't pick it up? Why somebody else have to be called to look for your fingertip? My third problem is, after he claimed his fingertip was cut by a bottle thrown by Eberhard, there is no information of what Eberhard's reaction. Did she run away? Did she say something or do something? Or did she know that the bottle hit his finger and removed his fingertip? In his testimony, it is as if immediately after the bottle throwing thing, Eberhard disappeared. So that actually matches Eberhard's story. She was not there. Is Johnny Depp lying? I don't want to say he was completely lying about the incident, but I suspect he even doesn't remember. He didn't remember, and he doesn't remember what happened. Whatever he told in the court is whatever he remembers, and he thinks that's what when it happens. But I suspect that's not when his finger was injured. It confirms Eberhard's story that she was not there. I suspect he probably injured his finger during those flipping tables and angrily shutting doors, closing windows, or something, fall and smashed on that finger. And then you can tell by the drawings and on the walls, on the mirrors, on the lamp, he was not in the right mind. He was not in the right state of mind. How can he remember so clearly how his fingertip was removed if it happened during that moment? So that's just my belief. And then let's watch one of the videos that shows maybe that's how it happened.
What happened? What happened? Nothing happened this morning, you know that?
Were you in here?
No.
So that nothing happened to you this morning?
Yeah, you're right. I just woke up and you were so sweet and nice. We were not even fighting this morning. All I did was say sorry.
Did something happen to you this morning? I don't think so.
No, that's the thing.
You want to see crazy? I'll give you fucking crazy. That's crazy. This
That's your house in
illegally
West.
recorded tape. Do we have a date or metadata or anything on it?
Why don't we, since you have some questions about it, why don't we watch it again?
Oh, I've
Play
seen
it
it.
again,
I
please,
mean,
Michelle. Okay, you know what, we don't have to do that.
No, that's good.
We don't have to do that. This is at your house in West Hollywood on Sweetser Avenue, correct?
that's correct, sir.
And that's you in the video, Mr. Depp, right?
That's correct, sir.
And you would agree that you were violent in that clip, correct?
Clearly, I was having a bad time. I don't know what it was with regard to completely at this point, since I don't know the date. But being illegally recorded by your
chosen other is, well, it's quite fitting with the rest of the photographs and tape recordings she made. So I thought what was most interesting is that she tried to hide it from me, and then that she laughed and smiled at the end. I thought that was the most interesting part myself. But so yes,
You didn't
I
react.
did assault a couple of cabins, but I did not touch Miss Heard.
Here you have it. That's one of the video ever heard recorded of Johnny Depp's behavior when they are alone. Nobody else was present. A lot of people saying that Amber Heard set it up like that. But if Johnny Depp is not like that, and then you set up, you can't catch it, right? You got to be consistently like that for somebody to catch you doing that. It seems Amber Heard caught it easily. You must notice he lift up his feet and kicking the countertop like that. That's perfect moment for an accident. Maybe he cut his finger in one of those moments. That's very likely. This part of him is very familiar. A certain person I know is like that, became angry easily and smash things. Not long ago, I was in the kitchen and somebody was in front of the computer. I heard some mumbling about the computer is too slow, not working. Then I heard a pounding sound. You know what happened. The computer was destroyed, was smashed. So I did not even make a peep for two reasons. One, if I make a peep, that's not smart. I know there is a possibility I will be blamed or yelled at. Second, I do not want to be present when things like that happen. I read books, how I learn how to deal with children throwing a tantrum because I'm a parent. I need to learn, that's my job. But I refuse to deal with adult throwing tantrums. I refuse to do that. So, and a long time ago, I have this to show you. A long time ago, this same person in my life. We were not living together at that time yet. So he opened the window to let air in, and then when it's time to close the window just didn't want to go down. So he became angry. He smashed on the window hard. One finger was crushed. And this is the leftover of that. I still keep this. So, I mean, how hard is it for Johnny Depp to hurt himself in one of those tantrum throwing moments? Very likely. I'm just surprised he didn't hurt himself in that video by kicking the countertop like that while he is already in his 50s. He must be physically very fit. I can't do that. If I do that, I will injure myself for sure. At the end, you also heard him saying, I assaulted cabinets, but I did not touch Amber Heard. That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. He thinks it's okay. It's okay to assault furniture and behave like that. It has no effect on my partner if I behave like that, as long as I don't touch my partner. That's the dangerous part. You are not your partner. Your partner is your partner. You don't know what your behavior, the effect of your behavior like that on your partner. Actually, nobody wants to be present in that kind of environment. It's just not good. You noticed he runs over, try to stop the recording. It's kind of scary for me if somebody kind of jump over, if somebody quickly come over, try to grab something from behind me. It's kind of scary to me. And then he also smashes glass any moment he wants to. It's just not good. I do not want to associate. I do not want to be present in that kind of behavior. If you think it's okay to do that, that means you have no empathy for other people. You do not consider the effect of your behavior on other people. You have no empathy for other people. That's a major lacking of quality in a person, I think. To me, his finger was probably cut in one of those moments. What about you? Who injured Johnny Depp's finger? What he testified is what he remembered, but I don't think that's when his finger was injured. I suspect he did not remember when and how his finger was injured. Number 9, the bottle assault. So this incident is another similar one like the cavity search thing, a more serious claim by ever heard. If you are interested, you can listen to her testimony. To me, I can't imagine how can a person make up a story like that. And the only problem I have is with Amber Heard's story is she claimed she was lying on her back on the table. My only problem is how can Johnny Depp get her on the table? It's possible for me. It's possible if she was leaning against the table, and that's what happened. That's when it happened. But she said she was lying on top of a table. So I'm wondering, how did Johnny Depp get her on top of a table? Did she agree to get on the top of the table? Did she agree to something similar, but later used that as something that Johnny Depp attacked her without her agreeing to it? Or that's probably a possibility if she made it up. That's one way I think she can use that. But other than that, I think it's hard for me to imagine somebody can come up a story like that. And then Johnny Depp never denied it did not happen. I wonder why he doesn't deny it. That's just strange. Either all three things or one of the three things, even if one of the three things happened, that means Amber Heard was not defaming Johnny Depp when she wrote the op-ed. The slapping over the Wino tattoo, the cavity search, and the bottle penetration. Any one of them, two of them, or three of them, if happened, that means she was not defaming Johnny Depp. Number 10, Johnny Depp and his team's behaviors in the courtroom. Did you notice that most of the time Johnny Depp was wearing sunglasses? I even don't know you are allowed to do that in the court. there are also people talking that there are candies in front of him, a bag of candy in front of him in the court. Sometimes he put one in his mouth and chew on it. His lawyers does that too. I don't see Amber Heard's lawyers do that, but they are doing that. And after the attorney cross-examined Amber Heard, she immediately come over to Johnny Depp, hang on his neck, pat his chest, and Johnny Depp grabbed her hand and doesn't want her to go. I don't know why they did that. It's just so unprofessional. When the judge announced the jury's verdict that Johnny Depp had won the case, Johnny Depp would be awarded $5 million. Amber Heard was ordered to pay $5 million to Johnny Depp. At that moment, if they did that, it will be a celebratory gesture. It will be fine. But after you cross-examine Amber Heard and you did all that, to me it feels like, okay, you just made a statement that juries doesn't decide this case. I decide this case. I already decided I won. So let's hug, let's hold hands, let's pat and squeeze and celebrate. That's just so unprofessional. Another thing they did is after Amber Heard's testimony, before the cross-examination, they made a strange statement. Let's look at their statement.
Johnny Depp's team has issued a statement after Amber Heard delivered shocking courtroom testimony this week, calling it, quote, the performance of her life. His spokesperson told NBC News in a statement, as Ms. counsel correctly predicted in their opening statements last month, Ms. Heard did indeed deliver, quote, the performance of her life, unquote, in her direct examination. While Ms. Heard's stories have continued to grow new and convenient details, Mr. Depp's recollections have remained exactly the same throughout the 6 painful years since her first allegations were made. His truth, the truth, is the same no matter the environment in which it has been presented. The upcoming cross-examination for Mr. Depp's team will be most telling, and will certainly highlight the many fallacies Ms. Heard has now attempted to pass off as fact throughout her convoluted testimony. Amber Heard's team fired back in a statement to NBC News, which read, as evidenced by the statement just released, Mr. Depp's defamation claim is falling apart so rapidly that his counsel are turning from prosecutor to persecutor. They boast that Mr. Depp's story has not changed. If so, since he lost the domestic violence restraining order and he resoundingly lost the libel case in the UK, perhaps he should consider a new strategy rather than the recycled approach of attacking the victim and refusing to take responsibility for his own conduct. Heard's spokesperson continued, if Mr. Depp was truly innocent, why has he repeatedly apologized to Ms. Heard and promised to put, quote, the monster away for good, unquote. One of Ms. Heard's disappointments is Mr. Depp's inability to distinguish fact from fiction, a malady which appears to have spread to his legal team. That team is so panicked that they are fighting tooth and nail to prevent compelling evidence and photos from being introduced. Small wonder Mr. Depp does not have the fortitude or courage to even look at Ms. Heard at all throughout the proceedings, as he could not in the UK trial, and instead he doodles and snickers. Mr. Depp's behavior in this trial has been as pitiful as it was in their marriage. Apparently, they feel they must double down on their demonstrably losing two-part strategy, distract the jury and demonize the victim.
So for me, if Johnny Depp can't come out and stating and deny the 3 incidents, the slapping over the tattoo, the cavity search, the bottle penetration, if he can't categorically deny these 3 things, he better don't make any statement. But I don't know what his PR team is thinking, and they made a statement, and the statement made Amber Heard's team make a statement and list all the issues that he has. And then he claims his story doesn't change. It doesn't change, it doesn't mean it's truth. I think Mr. Depp's team's confidence, display of entitlement that they have already won the case in the courtroom is a dangerous one. Number 11, who has seen Johnny's eyes? This is one of the proud moments of Johnny Depp's team because his attorney asked Amber Heard that Johnny Depp never looked at her in court because they displayed a audio. Johnny Depp was saying, "You will never see my eyes again," and then his attorney grilled Amber Heard on saying that Johnny Depp kept that promise on you, didn't he? I don't know why they feel so good about that. To me, it feels like the attorney becomes an extension of Johnny Depp, and they keep abusing her. Now it's not in a private home, it's in a court, and then Amber Heard can't do anything about it. They have the right to abuse her. That's the whole duration of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship. Johnny Depp does not trust her, does not respect her. Contrary to many people think that Johnny Depp loved her and Amber Heard never loved Johnny Depp. On the contrary, I think that's actually exactly the opposite. I don't think he ever loved her, but maybe in the beginning he did. And then mainly he looked at her as a perfect sexual object for him to enjoy, and later found out she is a human being with she's an imperfect human being. If I am Amber Heard's lawyer, I would rehabilitate Amber Heard. I would ask Amber Heard, you were asked about Johnny Depp not looking at you. Did you notice Johnny Depp has ever looked at anybody else on the witness stand? No, that would be Amber Heard's the question. What did the other witness do to Johnny Depp? Nothing. So what do you think about Johnny Depp's attitude toward you or toward other witness in the courtroom? Very disrespectful. That's exactly how I was treated while I was his wife. That will be my take on that. But Amber Heard did a completely different thing. She just keep being defensive. Oh, he can't look at me. Of course he can look at you. He decided not to look at you. That's just his attitude. He just has I think a dangerous attitude. He is only interested in presenting his side of story and assume as long as he presented his side of the story, he would win the case. That's not the case. The jury listens to both sides of the story. If you are only interested in presenting your side of the story, you go do something like what Amber Heard did. You go write something, let people read it. You don't sue her in the court. She's a mom. She has a baby. Let her spend time with her baby. Don't make her to sit in a courtroom for weeks and weeks telling and recounting these things. If you are not interested in listening to her side of the story, why you sue her? Why you make her to tell her story? So I was kind of disappointed with Amber Heard's lawyer of not rehabilitate her at that and not pointing out just disgusting attitude on the other side. And I don't blame Amber Heard walking out on her attorney immediately after that cross-examination. She probably need a moment alone. She probably cried. I don't know where did she go? Directly exit the courtroom, and where did she go? What did she do? Or maybe she just need a moment to talk to her baby or something. I don't know. That's just one of the part. And Johnny Depp wears sunglasses most of the time. He never looked at any witnesses. I didn't watch the whole trial. I only noticed 2 times he looked at the witnesses. One time is Amber Heard's sister testifying that on her 30th birthday, everybody was going around telling something nice about Amber Heard when it's Johnny Depp's turn. She told something about the first meeting Johnny Depp and Amber Heard had. He noticed Amber Heard's perfect ass left a perfect imprint on his sofa. I mean, who look at a person when they meet for the first time if they have a perfect ass? Who remembers that for the first time they met? That tells me that Johnny Depp looked at Amber Heard as a sexual object, a perfect sexual object for him to enjoy, but later found out she is an imperfect person, and she didn't help make Amber Heard better. She made her even more imperfect. She brought on these psychologists and paid her to diagnose her with 2 mental disorders: borderline personality disorders and histrionic personality disorders. Do you realize how much stigma that is? Mental illness has a huge stigma. I don't know why he is doing those things. A second time I saw Johnny Depp looked up is when the psychiatrist commented that Johnny Depp had slow processing speed when he was with Amber, but recently he has improved. Especially in courtroom, his processing speed improved. So he commented on that. And then when Johnny Depp heard that, he sit up and looked at the witness. He is there only to look for things that make him look better. He's not interested in anything that doesn't make him look better. That's just not fair. That's just how you do it. If you want if you sue somebody, you better be fair. You better at least superficially respect the other side's right to tell their story. Lastly, a lot of people are talking about the consequence of Johnny Depp wins versus Amber Heard wins. Obviously, if Amber Heard wins, I think the only thing is probably Johnny Depp's career is over. If Johnny Depp wins, some people think it might have dragged the Me Too movement backward for many years. Some people think, oh no, it's an individual case, it wouldn't do that. But in my opinion, if Johnny Depp wins, there is going to be no intimate partner violence victims, but a lot of defamers for a long time, because sexual violence is very hard to prove. The victims usually is not taking pictures or taking videos while they are being attacked. What they get is usually something, the after effects, and then it often became a she said, he said, you can't prove it. So if Johnny Depp wins, that means it's exactly that. Amber Heard said that, Johnny Depp said that, and Amber Heard was not able to prove her claims. That set a precedent for later. Nobody we can see anything about their experience of being abused without a court certified victim title. So there will be no intimate partner violence victims, but a lot defamers for a long time, because anybody who come out says they are victims of intimate partner violence is going to be a defamer. It's very hard to prove they are victims. It's easier to be labeled than as a defamer. We'll see what happens. We'll see if I'm right or wrong about no IPV victims, but a lot defamers for a long time if Johnny Depp won the case.